history of clocks and timekeeping. Welcome to the Sleepy Archive. In this quiet exploration of the past, we will journey through the long story of how people have measured time. The screen will gently fade to a soft, dark view after this opening, allowing the words to guide you into a calm and restful state as we listen together to the steady unfolding of history. As the light slowly dims, the world around you softens into gentle shadow, and the voice of time itself begins to speak in measured tones. There's no need to rush. Let the darkness settle like a quiet blanket, and allow each chapter to unfold at its own unhurried pace. The history we share tonight moves like the slow turning of ancient wheels, patient and deliberate, inviting you to rest within its rhythm. The fade continues softly, drawing your attention inward to the words that follow, each one carrying the weight of centuries in its gentle cadence. In this dimming space, the ordinary concerns of the day recede, leaving room for the steady narrative of how humanity learned to mark the hours with ever greater care and ingenuity. The darkness deepens gradually, creating a peaceful environment where the history of timekeeping can unfold without distraction or urgency. As the presentation continues in this calm and darkened setting, the words themselves become the primary source of light and guidance through the long history we are about to explore together. The gentle transition into darkness invites a deeper listening, where the history of time can be absorbed in a state of quiet receptivity and peaceful reflection. Chapter 1: The first glimmers of time awareness. Long before any mechanical device existed, human beings noticed the regular patterns in the world around them. The rising and setting of the sun marked the division between day and night. The changing phases of the moon offered a way to count longer periods. Early people observed how shadows moved across the ground as the sun traveled across the sky. These observations were not hurried or precise in the modern sense. They were gentle rhythms that helped communities know when to plant seeds, when to gather harvests, and when to rest. In many ancient societies, time was felt more than counted. It was tied to the seasons, the movement of stars, and the simple repetition of daily tasks. People woke with the light and slept when darkness came. The idea of dividing a day into smaller equal parts came slowly, emerging from the need to coordinate activities in larger groups. Priests and astronomers in early civilizations began to watch the sky more carefully. They noted the positions of stars and planets. Over many years, these watchers created the first calendars. These calendars were based on the moon's cycles or the sun's path. They helped mark important festivals and agricultural events. The measurement of shorter intervals within a single day developed later. Sundials appeared in several cultures. A simple stick placed in the ground cast a shadow that moved as the sun moved. By marking where the shadow fell at different times, people could tell when morning had passed or when afternoon was beginning. These early sundials were not exact by today's standards. They worked only when the sun shone, and their accuracy changed with the seasons. Still, represented a quiet step forward in bringing order to the hours of daylight. Water clocks, or clepsydras, offered another gentle method. Water flowed at a steady rate from one vessel to another. Markings on the receiving vessel showed how much time had passed. These devices could be used at night or on cloudy days. They required careful attention to keep the flow consistent, yet they provided a reliable companion through the dark hours. In the quiet of early temples and observatories, these first tools of measurement helped shape the way communities organized their lives around the turning of the heavens. The stars themselves became silent guides, their steady patterns offering comfort and predictability in a world where the future often felt uncertain. As generations passed, these simple observations grew into deeper understandings. People began to see time not merely as the endless cycle of light and dark, but as something that could be gently guided and recorded. The first glimmers of time awareness thus emerged from the most ordinary of experiences: the warmth of sunlight on skin, the coolness of night air, and the slow dance of shadows across familiar ground. In this gentle beginning, we find the roots of all later inventions, each one an extension of that first quiet noticing. The human desire to know the hour grew from a deep need for harmony with the natural world, a wish to align daily life with the larger rhythms that governed the turning of seasons and the return of familiar constellations. Over countless quiet nights and sunlit days, these early understandings deepened. Communities learned to anticipate the solstices and equinoxes, marking them with simple ceremonies that honored the return of longer days or the approach of harvest. The moon's steady waxing and waning became a trusted friend, guiding travelers and farmers alike through its predictable phases. In the soft light of dawn or the deepening hues of dusk, people paused to observe how the world itself kept time. This natural timekeeping required no tools beyond attentive eyes and patient hearts. It fostered a sense of belonging to something larger, a quiet reassurance that each day followed its predecessor in orderly succession. As societies expanded and tasks grew more complex, the need for finer divisions became apparent. Meetings between distant groups, the coordination of labor in fields and workshops, and the scheduling of communal rituals all called for greater precision. Yet even as these needs arose, the fundamental gentleness of early time awareness remained. It was never about conquering time, but about living within its flow with greater awareness and care. The first calendars, scratched onto clay tablets or carved into stone, recorded these observations with reverence. They spoke of sacred days and ordinary ones alike, weaving human activity into the fabric of cosmic order. In this way, the history of clocks begins not with invention, but with observation, a slow and tender noticing that would eventually lead to the sophisticated mechanisms we know today. The passage of centuries only deepened this foundation, as each culture added its own layer of meaning and method to the shared human project of measuring the hours. Early societies also noted the behavior of animals and plants as subtle indicators of seasonal change, integrating these signs into their emerging sense of time's passage. The migration of birds, the flowering of certain trees, and the behavior of rivers all contributed to an intuitive calendar that guided survival and ritual. These observations, passed down through oral tradition and simple markings, formed the bedrock upon which later precision would be built. In caves and on open plains, people gathered to share what they had learned about the sky's reliable dance, strengthening community bonds through shared knowledge of when to expect rain or the return of game. This collective wisdom, accumulated over lifetimes, became the first true archive of time, preserved not in mechanisms, but in memory and story. The gentle unfolding of these early insights reminds us that timekeeping began as an act of profound attention to the living world, an attention that continues to echo in every clock we consult today. Over the slow turning of ages, these foundational observations wove themselves into the very fabric of human culture, influencing everything from religious observance to agricultural planning, and the simple rhythms of rest and activity that defined daily existence for countless generations. The earliest time awareness thus grew organically from lived experience, creating a foundation of intuitive understanding that would support all future refinements in measurement and coordination. This deep connection to natural cycles provided the essential starting point for all later human efforts to capture and measure the passage of time with greater precision and reliability. The quiet noticing of these early patterns laid the groundwork for everything that would follow in the long history of timekeeping. Chapter 2: Ancient Sundials and their quiet precision. As civilizations grew, the sundial became more refined. In ancient Egypt, large stone obelisks served as giant shadow markers. Their tall forms cast long shadows that could be observed across temple grounds. Smaller portable sundials were also crafted from stone or wood. These were often shaped like a half circle, with lines marked for the hours. The design required knowledge of the sun's path at different latitudes. A sundial made in one place would not read correctly in another without adjustment. Egyptian astronomers spent years studying these patterns. Their work helped create sundials that divided the daylight into 12 parts. These parts were not equal in length throughout the year. In summer, the hours were longer because the sun stayed in the sky longer. In winter, they were shorter. This seasonal variation felt natural to people at the time. It matched the changing length of daylight itself. In Greece and Rome, sundials became common in public squares and private gardens. Wealthy households kept small versions for personal use. Philosophers and scholars discussed the nature of time while watching the shadows move. Some sundials were designed with great care, using curves and angles that accounted for the sun's changing position. The gnomon, the raised part that casts the shadow, was often angled to point toward the North Pole star. This simple adjustment improved accuracy across different seasons. Roman engineers built large sundials in city centers. One famous example was a massive structure that covered an entire plaza. People could walk within its marked areas and see the time of day by their own position relative to the shadow. These public clocks helped coordinate markets, courts, and daily life. Yet, even the best sundials had limits. They could not function at night or when clouds covered the sun. They needed regular adjustment as the seasons changed. Despite these limitations, they remained the primary timekeeping tool for centuries. Their presence in everyday spaces reminded people of the sun's steady journey and the orderly progression of hours. In the quiet courtyards of ancient homes, a simple sundial might rest upon a stone pedestal, its shadow creeping slowly across etched lines as the day unfolded. Gardeners and scholars alike consulted it without haste, accepting the gentle variations that came with the turning year. The craftsmanship involved in creating these instruments spoke of deep respect for both mathematics and the natural world. Artisans spent careful hours aligning stones and carving precise markings, knowing that their work would serve generations. In the marketplaces of Rome, the public sundial stood as a silent arbiter of commerce, its shadow marking the moments when vendors opened their stalls or when officials began their duties. The device invited a communal awareness of time, drawing people together around its unchanging, yet ever-moving pointer. Philosophers in Athens pondered how these shadows mirrored the fleeting nature of existence itself, each hour slipping away as inevitably as the last. Yet the sundial also offered reassurance. The sun would return, the shadow would move again, and the cycle would continue with quiet reliability. Across the Mediterranean and beyond, variations in design reflected local needs and knowledge. Some cultures favored vertical dials on walls, others horizontal ones on the ground. Each adaptation showed how human ingenuity worked within the constraints of sunlight and season. The ancient sundial thus stands as a testament to patient observation and practical artistry, a bridge between the raw rhythms of nature and the structured demands of growing societies. Its legacy lives on in the way we still speak of telling time by the sun, and in the enduring appeal of shadow and light as measures of the passing day. Even as more sophisticated devices emerged, the sundial's gentle presence continued to grace gardens and public spaces, a reminder of time's oldest and most graceful companion. In desert temples and coastal villas, the sundial's shadow traced paths that connected daily labor to cosmic order, encouraging a measured pace in all endeavors. The careful alignment of these instruments required generations of accumulated knowledge, passed from master to apprentice under the same sun that powered their function. This continuity of practice ensured that each new sundial inherited the precision of its predecessors while adapting to local conditions. The result was a widespread network of silent timekeepers unified communities around the shared experience of daylight's progression. The sundial's quiet precision also inspired artistic expression, appearing in mosaics, reliefs, and literary metaphors that celebrated the harmony between human measurement and natural cycles. Its enduring form continues to remind us of the elegant simplicity possible when human observation aligns closely with the natural world. The ancient sundial remains one of humanity's most elegant early achievements in bringing order to the unpredictable flow of daylight hours. Its simple yet effective design continues to inspire appreciation for the beauty of natural time measurement. Chapter 3: Water Clocks and the Steady Flow of Hours. The water clock offered a solution to the sundial's dependence on sunlight. In ancient China, India, and the Mediterranean world, people developed vessels that measured time by the controlled flow of water. A typical design had two containers. Water dripped from the upper one into the lower one at a carefully regulated rate. Markings on the lower vessel showed the hours as the water level rose. Some versions used a float that rose with the water and moved a pointer along a scale. Others connected the float to a mechanism that rang small bells or turned figures at certain intervals. These additions made the water clock more than a simple measurer. It became a gentle announcer of the passing time. In Egypt, water clocks were used in temples to time prayers and ceremonies. Priests could conduct rituals even after sunset. The steady drip of water provided a calm, reliable rhythm. In Greece, water clocks helped regulate the length of speeches in the assembly. Speakers knew they had a set amount of time before the water ran out. This encouraged clear and organized speaking. Roman versions were often more elaborate. Some included gears that moved dials or figures. One design featured a small boat that sank as water filled it, marking the end of an hour. Maintaining a water clock required attention. The water had to be clean so the flow remained steady. Temperature affected the rate of flow, so adjustments were sometimes needed. Still, the device worked indoors and at night, extending the reach of timekeeping beyond the hours of sunlight. In medieval monasteries, water clocks helped monks follow their daily schedule of prayer. The quiet sound of dripping water blended with the peaceful atmosphere of the cloister. Monks could rise for services at the correct hour without relying on the sun. These early water clocks were not perfectly accurate by modern measures. The flow could vary slightly from day to day. Yet, they represented an important advance. They showed that time could be measured independently of the heavens through the simple and patient movement of water from one vessel to another. In the dim light of temple chambers or the hushed corridors of monasteries, the water clock's gentle trickle became a companion to contemplation and duty. Artisans refined the narrow tubes and calibrated openings that controlled the drip, experimenting with different materials to achieve greater consistency. In the busy ports of ancient Alexandria, water clocks helped coordinate the loading and unloading of ships, even after darkness fell. The device allowed work to continue under torchlight, guided by the steady rise of water rather than the position of stars. In Chinese courts, elaborate versions incorporated moving figures that marked the hours with quiet ceremony, their small mechanisms turning as predictably as the seasons themselves. The water clock thus extended human awareness of time into spaces where sunlight never reached, bringing order to night watches and indoor labors alike. Its operation invited a meditative attention. The slow filling of a basin, the gradual lifting of a float, the eventual sounding of a bell. Each element spoke of patience and care, qualities that defined the best timekeeping of the ancient world. Though later replaced by more precise instruments, the water clock's legacy endures in the way we still value steady, uninterrupted flow as a metaphor for reliable time. It bridged the gap between celestial observation and mechanical invention, proving that the hours could be captured and counted even in the absence of sun or moon. In quiet rooms across many lands, its soft sound accompanied scholars, priests, and workers through the long watches of the night, offering a gentle assurance that time continued its measured course, regardless of light or darkness. The careful maintenance of these devices fostered a culture of attentive stewardship, where the keeper of the water clock became a guardian of communal rhythm. Variations in design across cultures highlighted different priorities, from the ornate ceremonial clocks of the East to the functional temple versions of the Mediterranean. This diversity enriched the global understanding of fluid time measurement and laid groundwork for later hydraulic innovations. The water clock's influence extended into philosophical reflections on the nature of time as something both fluid and measurable, inspiring thinkers to ponder the relationship between natural flow and human-imposed order. Its steady operation in darkness and light alike demonstrated the possibility of reliable measurement independent of celestial visibility. The water clock's gentle and persistent presence across many cultures stands as a testament to human ingenuity in capturing time's flow through the simplest of natural elements. Its legacy of patient, fluid measurement continues to resonate in our understanding of time as something that can be gently guided and observed. Chapter 4: Mechanical clocks emerge in medieval times. The transition from water to mechanical clocks happened gradually during the Middle Ages. Early mechanical clocks used weights and gears to drive a mechanism. A weight hanging from a cord or chain would slowly descend, turning a series of wheels. These wheels moved the hands or struck bells at regular intervals. The key challenge was regulating the speed. Without a steady pace, the clock would run too fast or too slow. The verge escapement provided one solution. It used a crown wheel and pallets that rocked back and forth. This rocking motion allowed the wheels to advance in small, regular steps. The result was a ticking sound that became familiar in clock towers across Europe. The first mechanical clocks were large and built into church towers or town halls. They were expensive to construct and required skilled craftsmen to maintain. Their purpose was often to call the community to prayer or to mark the opening and closing of markets. The clock face usually showed only the hour, with a single hand moving around a dial marked from 1 to 12. Minute hands came much later. These early tower clocks were not very accurate. They might gain or lose several minutes each day. Yet they offered a public signal that everyone could hear and see. The sound of bells ringing the hours became part of daily life in many towns. Inside monasteries and universities, smaller mechanical clocks began to appear. Scholars used them to time lectures and experiments. The steady motion of gears and weights provided a new way to think about time as something that could be divided into equal parts throughout the day and night. The development of the mechanical clock required advances in metalworking and gear design. Blacksmiths and locksmiths contributed their skills. Over time, the mechanisms became more refined. Springs replaced weights in some smaller clocks, allowing them to be portable. This portability opened new possibilities for personal timekeeping. The mechanical clock marked a shift from natural and fluid measures to engineered regularity. In the high towers of cathedrals, these devices stood as monuments to human ingenuity, their bells echoing across rooftops to remind citizens of the structured hours. The slow descent of heavy weights within their cases mirrored the deliberate pace of medieval life itself, where tasks unfolded according to the rhythm of prayer, work, and rest. Craftsmen labored for months or years to perfect each gear and escapement, knowing that their creations would serve entire communities for generations. The distinctive tick of the verge mechanism became a new heartbeat for towns and villages, replacing or supplementing the older calls of bells and horns. In university halls, these clocks helped organize the scholarly day, dividing long periods of study into manageable segments. Though imperfect by later standards, they brought a new level of consistency to collective life. The mechanical clock thus represented both practical progress and a deeper cultural change, encouraging people to view time as a resource that could be measured, allocated, and shared with increasing precision. Its emergence during the Middle Ages laid the foundation for all subsequent advances in timekeeping, transforming the way societies coordinated their activities and perceived the passage of each day. The introduction of these tower clocks also influenced architecture, as buildings were designed or modified to accommodate the mechanisms and their prominent dials. This integration of timekeeping into the physical landscape reinforced the centrality of measured hours in community life. The mechanical clock's development marked the beginning of a new era in which time became something that could be engineered, maintained, and relied upon with growing confidence across expanding societies. Its steady presence in towers and halls alike signaled a growing societal commitment to coordinated and predictable daily rhythms. The mechanical clock thus opened a new chapter in humanity's relationship with time, one defined by engineered consistency rather than natural observation alone. Its introduction marked a significant evolution in how communities experienced and organized the passage of each day and night. Chapter 5: The Pendulum and Improved Accuracy. A major step toward accuracy came with the introduction of the pendulum. In the 17th century, scientists and clockmakers realized that a swinging weight could regulate a clock's movement more reliably than earlier escapements. The pendulum's swing takes a consistent amount of time, regardless of small variations in the driving force. This property made it ideal for timekeeping. Christiaan Huygens is often credited with building one of the first pendulum clocks. His design used the pendulum to control the release of energy from a weight or spring. The result was a clock that could keep time within a minute or two per day, a significant improvement over earlier mechanical clocks. Soon, pendulum clocks appeared in homes and public buildings throughout Europe. Their long cases housed the weights and pendulum, protecting the mechanism from dust and drafts. The familiar tick-tock sound became a comforting presence in many households. Clockmakers experimented with different pendulum lengths. Longer pendulums swung more slowly and were often more stable. Temperature changes could still affect accuracy because metal expands and contracts. Some makers used special alloys or compensation mechanisms to reduce this effect. The pendulum brought a new level of order to daily life. People could set appointments with greater confidence. Trains and ships began to rely on accurate clocks for scheduling. The gentle swing of the pendulum inside its case mirrored the steady passage of time itself. It encouraged a calmer approach to the hours, where each moment followed the next in measured succession. This improvement in accuracy also supported scientific work. Astronomers could time their observations more precisely. Experiments in physics and chemistry benefited from reliable timing. The pendulum clock became a tool for both practical life and careful study. Its influence spread as clockmakers in different countries shared designs and techniques. By the end of the 17th century, pendulum clocks had become the standard for accurate timekeeping across much of the world. In quiet parlors and grand halls alike, the steady oscillation provided a reassuring backdrop to conversation, study, and rest. The long case clock, with its polished wood and visible pendulum, became a cherished piece of furniture, its presence lending dignity and order to the rooms it occupied. Scientists like Huygens not only improved the mechanism, but also deepened the theoretical understanding of periodic motion, linking clock design to broader principles of physics. This marriage of craftsmanship and science elevated timekeeping to new heights of reliability. The pendulum's regular beat allowed for the precise measurement of intervals that had previously been estimated, opening doors to more exact navigation, astronomy, and experimental work. Even as the world grew busier with the dawn of the industrial age, the pendulum clock offered a pocket of calm predictability, its swing continuing undisturbed through changing seasons and shifting societies. Its legacy remains in the enduring image of the grandfather clock, standing sentinel in hallways and studies. Its measured rhythm, a quiet reminder of time's patient and unwavering course. The refinement of pendulum design continued for generations, with innovations in suspension and compensation, ensuring ever greater stability in diverse environments. The pendulum's introduction transformed timekeeping from an approximate art into a science, enabling the precise coordination that would define the modern era. Its influence persists in the design of many contemporary timepieces that still rely on the fundamental principles of periodic oscillation for accuracy. The pendulum clock brought a new level of serenity and dependability to the measurement of hours, becoming a beloved feature in homes and institutions across the centuries. Its steady and reliable swing continues to symbolize the measured passage of time in many settings today. Chapter 6: Portable Timekeepers and the Rise of Watches. While large clocks served public needs, smaller portable timepieces developed alongside them. Early watches were worn as pendants or carried in pockets. They used a mainspring to power the mechanism instead of hanging weights. The spring allowed the watch to be carried without losing power. Early watches were not very accurate. They might gain or lose half an hour or more in a single day. Their cases were often elaborately decorated, showing that they were items of status as well as utility. As the 17th and 18th centuries progressed, watchmakers improved the balance wheel and added better escapements. These changes made watches more reliable. The addition of a minute hand became common. Some watches even included a second hand for timing short intervals. In England and France, centers of watchmaking grew. Skilled artisans produced timepieces for merchants, navigators, and wealthy individuals. Watches helped people coordinate their days more closely. A merchant could know when a meeting was scheduled. A traveler could estimate arrival times. The watch became a personal companion, carried close to the body, and consulted many times each day. The development of the fusee, a cone-shaped device that helped maintain even power from the mainspring, further improved accuracy. Watches could now keep time within a few minutes per day. This level of precision was sufficient for most daily activities. During the 19th century, watches became more affordable. Mass production techniques allowed ordinary people to own one. The pocket watch remained popular for men, while smaller versions were designed for women to wear as brooches or on chains. Personal watch changed the relationship between people and time. Instead of relying on public clocks or bells, individuals carried their own measure of the hours. This fostered a greater sense of personal schedule and punctuality. The quiet ticking of a watch in a pocket or on a wrist became a private rhythm that accompanied its owner through the varied moments of each day. In the hands of navigators and explorers, these portable devices proved invaluable for determining position at sea or on land. Watchmakers in Switzerland and England refined their art over generations, producing instruments of increasing elegance and reliability. The watch thus evolved from a luxury curiosity into an everyday necessity, shrinking the vastness of time into something that could be held in the hand or slipped into a pocket. Its gentle presence encouraged a more intimate awareness of the passing hours, transforming time from a distant public signal into a personal companion. As the centuries advanced, the watch's design grew ever more refined, with jeweled movements and protective cases ensuring its steady operation through the jostle of daily life. This portability marked a profound shift, allowing individuals to carry the order of measured time wherever their journeys led them. The rise of the wristwatch in the 20th century further personalized this relationship, strapping time directly to the body as a constant, silent advisor. Portable timekeepers thus democratized access to accurate time, empowering individuals to navigate their personal and professional lives with unprecedented autonomy and precision. The watch became an extension of personal identity, a small but powerful tool that accompanied its owner through every aspect of daily existence. Its quiet presence on the body or in the pocket offered a personal connection to the measured flow of hours that large public clocks could never provide. The evolution of portable timekeepers reflects humanity's ongoing desire to keep time close at hand, a desire that continues to drive innovation in personal timekeeping devices today. Chapter 7: Marine Chronometers and Navigation at Sea. Accurate timekeeping proved essential for navigation on the open ocean. Determining longitude required knowing the exact time at a reference point, usually a home port. Without an accurate clock, sailors could only estimate their position roughly. Many ships were lost because of errors in navigation. The British government offered a prize for a reliable marine chronometer. John Harrison, a carpenter and self-taught clockmaker, took up the challenge. Over many years, he designed and built a series of timekeepers that could withstand the motion of a ship and changes in temperature and humidity. His fourth chronometer, known as H4, performed remarkably well on sea trials. It kept time accurately enough to determine longitude within half a degree after months at sea. Harrison's work showed that a mechanical clock could be made stable enough for maritime use. Other makers followed with their own designs. The marine chronometer became standard equipment on naval and merchant vessels. It was kept in a special box to protect it from shocks. The captain or a designated officer would wind it and compare its time with local noon each day. This daily ritual helped chart the ship's course across vast oceans. The chronometer supported the growth of global trade and exploration. Ships could sail more confidently to distant ports. Maps became more accurate because positions could be fixed with greater certainty. The story of the marine chronometer is one of patient craftsmanship and scientific persistence. It extended the reach of precise timekeeping from land to the moving deck of a ship at sea. This advance made the world feel smaller and more connected, as reliable schedules became possible across oceans. In the rolling swells of the Atlantic or the vast expanses of the Pacific, these sturdy instruments ticked steadily on, their mechanisms protected from salt spray and sudden temperature shifts. Harrison's innovations, including the use of special balances and temperature-compensated springs, addressed problems that had long plagued seafarers. The daily ritual of comparing chronometer time to local noon became a moment of quiet ceremony aboard ship, linking the vessel to distant shores through the invisible thread of accurate time. Navigators pored over their charts with renewed confidence, their calculations grounded in the reliable beat of the marine timekeeper. The success of these devices transformed long-distance voyaging from a hazardous gamble into a more predictable endeavor, enabling the great age of exploration and commerce that reshaped the globe. Even today, the principles refined in those early chronometers continue to influence precision timekeeping in demanding environments. The marine chronometer thus represents one of the most practical triumphs of the clockmaker's art, turning the restless motion of the sea into a backdrop for steady and dependable measurement. Its development required not only mechanical brilliance, but also an understanding of the sea's unpredictable forces, resulting in robust designs that served explorers for centuries. The chronometer's role in enabling safe global navigation fundamentally altered humanity's relationship with the oceans, turning vast and dangerous waters into navigable pathways for trade, discovery, and cultural exchange. Its legacy endures in every modern navigation system that relies on precise timing for accurate positioning. The marine chronometer stands as a remarkable achievement in bringing precision timekeeping to the most challenging of environments. Its development and refinement represent one of the great stories of human perseverance and ingenuity in the service of safe and reliable navigation. Chapter 8: Standardization of Time and Railway Schedules. As travel by rail expanded in the 19th century, the need for standardized time became clear. Each town had traditionally kept its own local time based on the sun. When trains ran between cities, these small differences caused confusion. A train schedule based on one town's time would not match another town's clocks. Railway companies began to adopt a single standard time for their operations. In Britain, Greenwich Mean Time became the common reference. In the United States, 4 time zones were eventually established. The change required people to adjust their habits. Some resisted at first, preferring the natural rhythm of local sun time. Over time, the convenience of coordinated schedules won out. Telegraph lines helped spread the correct time across long distances. Observatories sent signals that synchronized clocks in distant cities. This network of time signals supported both railways and the growing telegraph system itself. Factories and offices adopted the new standard time. Workers arrived and left according to a shared clock rather than the position of the sun. The day became more structured around uniform hours. This standardization was quiet but profound. It allowed complex systems of transportation and communication to function smoothly. People learned to think of time as a shared resource that stretched across regions, rather than a local phenomenon tied to their immediate surroundings. The railway clock became a familiar sight in stations, its hands moving steadily to keep trains on schedule. The gentle coordination of many clocks across a country reflected a new level of organization in daily life. In bustling terminals and quiet country depots alike, the standardized clock governed the comings and goings of passengers and freight. The adoption of time zones resolved the patchwork of local times that had previously complicated long journeys. What had once been a matter of individual town sundials or church bells became a coordinated national system, enabling the reliable operation of vast rail networks. Telegraph operators played a crucial role, relaying time signals from observatories to stations far and wide. This invisible web of synchronized time wove together distant communities, fostering a sense of shared schedule that extended beyond any single locality. Though some clung to the older, more personal rhythms of sun time, the practical benefits of standardization gradually won acceptance. The railway clock, with its clear face and authoritative tick, stood as a symbol of this new era of coordinated movement and communication. Its steady progress across the dial helped millions of people align their days with the larger patterns of industrial society, transforming time from a local experience into a collective one. Standardization effort also sparked debates about the relationship between natural and artificial time, debates that continue in subtle ways today. This shift toward unified time systems laid the groundwork for the global coordination that characterizes contemporary life, from international flights to worldwide financial markets. The quiet adoption of standard time represented a profound reorganization of daily life that continues to shape how societies function across vast distances. The railway clock became an emblem of this new era of coordinated movement and shared temporal awareness. Its steady presence in stations across the land helped millions adapt to the new rhythms of industrial travel and commerce. Chapter 9: Electric Clocks and Synchronized Systems. The introduction of electricity brought new possibilities for timekeeping. Electric clocks could be connected to a central master clock that sent regular impulses to keep them synchronized. This eliminated the need for each clock to be wound or adjusted individually. In offices, schools, and factories, banks of clocks could all show the same time. The master clock often received corrections from an observatory via telegraph or radio. Electric clocks were quieter than mechanical ones. They lacked the loud ticking of earlier designs. Their smooth operation suited the modern workplace. Some electric clocks used a motor to drive the hands. Others used vibrating crystals or tuning forks for regulation. The quartz crystal, discovered to oscillate at a very stable frequency when an electric current was applied, became the basis for highly accurate timekeeping. Quartz clocks could keep time to within a second per month or better. This accuracy supported scientific research and broadcasting. Radio stations used quartz-controlled clocks to maintain precise schedules. Telephone systems relied on accurate timing for switching calls. The electric clock extended the reach of synchronized time into every corner of modern life. Homes began to feature electric wall clocks that required no winding. The plug replaced the key as the source of power. This convenience made accurate time available to more people than ever before. The quiet hum of an electric clock became part of the background of daily routines. In large institutions, entire networks of synchronized clocks ensured that everyone operated according to the same schedule, from the ringing of school bells to the changing of factory shifts. The elimination of individual winding freed caretakers from daily maintenance, while the precision of quartz regulation brought unprecedented reliability. Broadcasting and telecommunications especially benefited, as accurate timing became essential for coordinating signals across continents. The electric clock thus represented a quiet revolution in convenience and consistency, removing the mechanical burdens of earlier eras, while extending accurate time to homes, offices, and public spaces on a scale previously unimaginable. Its unobtrusive presence in hallways and kitchens alike offered a constant, silent reference for the ordered flow of modern life. The transition to electric systems also reduced the labor associated with timekeeping, allowing greater focus on the activities the clocks regulated. Electric timekeeping thus became foundational to the infrastructure of the 20th century, supporting everything from urban planning to scientific experimentation with its reliable, maintenance-free operation. The quiet efficiency of electric clocks helped define the pace and precision of modern institutional and domestic life alike. Their widespread adoption marked a significant step toward the seamless integration of accurate time into every aspect of contemporary existence. The electric clock brought a new level of quiet reliability and convenience to the measurement of time in homes, offices, and public spaces around the world. Chapter 10: Atomic Clocks and the Definition of the Second. In the 20th century, scientists developed clocks based on the natural vibrations of atoms. These atomic clocks achieved accuracy far beyond anything previously possible. The cesium atom, when exposed to certain frequencies of microwave radiation, oscillates in an extremely regular way. By counting these oscillations, a clock could measure time with extraordinary precision. The first practical atomic clock was built in the 1950s. It was soon adopted as the international standard for time. The second was redefined in terms of a specific number of cesium oscillations. This definition remains in use today. Atomic clocks are kept in laboratories around the world. They are compared regularly through satellite links. The time they produce is distributed via radio signals, the internet, and satellite navigation systems. Everyday devices such as computers, smartphones, and GPS receivers rely on this atomic time. The atomic clock operates far from daily experience. Its mechanism is invisible and silent, yet it underpins the synchronized world in which we live. Financial transactions, power grids, and transportation networks all depend on the precise time it provides. The journey from sundials to atomic clocks spans thousands of years. Each step added a layer of regularity to the measurement of time. The atomic clock represents the current peak of this long development, offering stability measured in fractions of a second over millions of years. In secure laboratories, these remarkable instruments maintain their vigil, their atomic oscillations providing the ultimate reference against which all other clocks are set. The redefinition of the second in atomic terms marked a profound shift, moving timekeeping from mechanical or astronomical bases to the fundamental properties of matter itself. This precision enables technologies that shape every aspect of contemporary existence, from the synchronization of global financial markets to the accurate positioning provided by satellite navigation. Though hidden from ordinary view, the atomic clock's influence touches nearly every moment of modern life, ensuring that the measured rhythm first observed in ancient shadows continues with ever greater fidelity and reach. International cooperation in maintaining these standards has created a truly global time infrastructure, invisible yet essential to the functioning of the modern world. The atomic clock stands as the culmination of humanity's long quest for perfect regularity, a silent sentinel whose oscillations underpin the digital age. Its extraordinary precision has made possible technologies and systems that previous generations could scarcely have imagined. The atomic definition of time has become the invisible foundation upon which the entire modern world of synchronized activity rests. Its quiet and precise operation supports the coordination of countless activities that define contemporary life across the globe. Chapter 11: Time in Daily Life and Cultural Reflections. Throughout history, the way people measured time has shaped how they lived. In agricultural societies, the calendar guided planting and harvesting. In industrial societies, the clock guided work shifts and production. The presence of a clock in a home or workplace encouraged punctuality and planning. Yet timekeeping also carried cultural meaning. In some traditions, bells marked the hours with a sense of solemnity. In others, the clock was simply a practical tool. The slow adoption of standard time showed that people valued both the natural day and the convenience of coordination. Over centuries, clocks moved from public towers to personal pockets and wrists. This movement brought time closer to the individual. A person could carry the measure of the hours wherever they went. The watch or clock became a quiet companion, consulted in moments of waiting or planning. In literature and art, clocks often symbolize the passage of life itself. Their steady motion reminded viewers of the fleeting nature of moments. Yet, in the sleepy history we are tracing, the emphasis remains on the gentle, practical side of timekeeping. The devices themselves were crafted with care, their mechanisms turned with patience. The history of clocks is also the history of the people who made them and used them. Craftsmen spent years mastering gear cutting and escapement design. Users adjusted their days around the signals the clocks provided. This mutual influence between tool and habit created the measured rhythm of modern life. The story continues today as new technologies offer even finer divisions of time. Yet, the basic human need remains the same: to know where we stand within the flow of hours and days. In homes and workplaces across many cultures, the clock has served as both servant and symbol, organizing activity while also reflecting deeper values about order, community, and the passage of existence. From the communal tower clock that called entire villages to prayer or market, to the personal watch that accompanied an individual through private moments, timekeeping devices have always intertwined with the social fabric. Their evolution mirrors humanity's ongoing negotiation between natural rhythms and constructed schedules, between the desire for precision and the comfort of familiar cycles. This long interplay continues to shape how we experience each passing hour, blending ancient reverence for the sun's journey with the modern demand for synchronized global coordination. The cultural stories woven around clocks, from folklore about time's passage to artistic representations of fleeting moments, enrich our understanding of why these instruments matter beyond their practical function. Timekeeping, thus, reflects not only technological progress, but also the evolving values and aspirations of the societies that created and used these devices. The gentle integration of clocks into daily routines has helped shape cultural identities and collective understandings of how time should be experienced and honored. The quiet presence of timekeeping devices in homes, workplaces, and public spaces continues to influence how individuals and communities perceive and organize their shared existence. The history of time in daily life reveals a continuous dialogue between human needs and the tools developed to meet them. Chapter 12: The Enduring Rhythm of Measured Time. As we reach the close of this quiet journey through the history of clocks and timekeeping, we can reflect on the long path from simple shadow observations to atomic precision. Each invention added a layer of order without disturbing the fundamental experience of time passing. The sundial, the water clock, the mechanical tower clock, the pendulum, the marine chronometer, the railway standard, the electric clock, and the atomic standard all served the same purpose. They helped people coordinate their activities and understand their place in the day. The gentle ticking or silent operation of these devices accompanied countless ordinary moments. People rose, worked, rested, and slept according to the signals the clocks provided. This steady background allowed societies to grow more complex while maintaining a shared sense of when things should happen. In the dark and calm of this presentation, we have listened to the story without hurry. The history of timekeeping is not one of sudden leaps, but of patient refinement. Each generation built upon the work of the last. The result is a world where accurate time is available everywhere, from the tallest tower to the smallest personal device. Yet the original connection to the sun, moon, and stars remains visible in our calendars, and in the way we still speak of morning and evening. The clocks we use today continue the ancient practice of marking regular intervals in the flow of existence. As you rest, consider the quiet reliability of these instruments. They have measured the hours for farmers, scholars, sailors, and workers across many centuries. Their story is one of steady service to human needs. Thank you for listening to this gentle account of how we came to know the time. May the measured rhythm of history bring a sense of peace as the night continues. The screen remains dark, and the words fade softly into silence. In this final quiet moment, we recognize that the measurement of time, in all its forms, ultimately serves the same enduring human longing: to move through our days with awareness, coordination, and a gentle sense of belonging to the larger unfolding of existence itself. The patient accumulation of knowledge across eras has brought us to this point, where time's measurement supports both the grandest global systems and the most intimate personal reflections. As darkness holds the space, the history we have shared offers a quiet invitation to appreciate the steady, unhurried progress of hours that define our shared journey. The enduring rhythm of measured time continues to accompany humanity through every age, a gentle and reliable presence that connects the simplest observations of antiquity to the most sophisticated instruments of the present day. This long and patient history reminds us that time itself, when measured with care, becomes a source of comfort, order, and quiet connection across the generations. The story of clocks and timekeeping is ultimately the story of humanity's enduring effort to live in harmony with the passage of hours, days, and seasons. A quiet and persistent endeavor that continues to shape our lives in gentle and profound ways. As the words fade and the darkness remains, we carry with us the quiet knowledge that time, in all its measured forms, has always been and will always be a faithful companion to human activity and reflection. This gentle history invites ongoing contemplation of how measured time supports both individual peace and collective coordination across the many generations that have come before and those yet to follow. The measured rhythm continues its quiet work, offering steady guidance through the hours of rest and activity alike. The history of clocks and timekeeping continues to unfold in quiet ways, offering each new generation the same gentle invitation to live in harmony with the measured passing of hours and days. This enduring story reminds us that time, when approached with patience and care, becomes a source of peace and reliable order in the ongoing flow of human experience.